Hey everyone, Dr. G here. So I wanted to run through an example, a connect the dots example of how inflammation and stress chemistry can manifest as various symptoms in the body. So let's connect the dots on one that's pretty pretty common that I see in practice. Um, Certainly not something that we want to be popular, but I digress. Here we go. So first, what is stress chemistry? Stress chemistry is defined as any of the downstream biochemical and cellular responses to injury, inflammation, infection, acute or chronic stress, as well as even exercise, which we would categorize as a good stress, although there are still biochemical responses to that. So let's dive into the example. What are we talking about here? As an example of chronic stress here, we're going to use sleep debt or sleep deprivation. Once again, super common in today's lay of the land, at least here in North America. So sleep debt or deprivation can manifest and be expressed by the certain parts of the brain that are involved in stress response, and particularly two parts of the brain, the hypothalamus and the pituitary, that are then directly influenced to increase the release of stress-related hormones. These two hormones are listed there. That's CRH and ACTH. Long story short, two of the major hormones that are responsible for the body's release of cortisol from the adrenal glands. Okay. Some interesting research that I've come across, kind of talking about the etiology or the mechanism by which this affects gut health and gut symptoms, digestive symptoms. So one of these hormones, CRH in particular, has been shown to have a direct influence on the enterocytes of the gut. These are the cells that make up the inner lining of the digestive tract. What happens? Essentially, they are influenced to release inflammatory cytokines, which are just chemicals that are involved in the immune and inflammatory response, and as well as the activity of mast cells, which are also, and histamine release, which are involved in that. We would call it the combination of the immune and inflammatory response to that particular hormone, which is once again CRH, or cortisol releasing hormone. So we're going to bucket these together as the stress chemistry response in this particular scenario. So prolonged exposure to that stress chemistry causes a breakdown of just the function of the gut lining in general, without getting, without diving down the rabbit hole too deep. It's really going to just disrupt the function, the integrity. It's going to, increase nerve activity. So kind of the gut-brain connection becomes a bit dysregulated. Maybe it's hyperactive or hypoactive. This can be different from individual to individual. So this perpetuates the inflammation and immune response as well, and which affects digestion. So we get this kind of matrix of downstream effects when when our gut cells are exposed to these particular chemicals, and then it starts to run in a loop. We get kind of caught up in this physiological loop, and for some people, it's difficult to break that pattern, break that loop. And what happens? We can manifest symptoms that feel like, we have, all of a sudden we're sensitive to certain foods. We're having, bloating, discomfort, diarrhea, constipation, or both, which clinically, depending on the matrix of symptoms, the constellation of symptoms, we would, you possibly be diagnosed with a functional disorder like IBS. One of the variants, IBS, D, which is the diarrhea type, IBS-C, constipation type, or a mixed type. And so without trying to kind of pigeonhole that into a diagnosis, this is something that's actually related, which is not related to any true food sensitivity or intolerance. So it's really important to kind of, tease those things apart from each other, where, there's technically nothing wrong with the gut. Although now that those symptoms have started to manifest, the question is, how do we know what's causing what first, and how do we break into it? So that's where the nuance comes in, and that's where we start to really need deeper investigation, and kind of looking into some of the I guess we would call them the holistic approaches to your lifestyle medicine, as well as breaking the pattern with particular uh, with particular approaches or strategies. So if you're interested, if you have any questions, send a note or book a quick consultation call. I'm happy to just dive ever so quickly into this and see if you are a candidate for um, a more nuanced approach to your lifestyle medicine. And I hope that was helpful. All right, take care, everyone. Oh yeah, I will provide the links in the episode notes, and you should be able to find everything you need right in there. All right, take care.